This video will show you how to remove your carbon brushes. We'll begin by setting up your dryer and removing the screws all along here. Using a drill or a Phillips screwdriver, you can go ahead and remove all screws. Now that you removed all those screws, you can now pry this open. Gently pull upwards, however, be careful as there are wires connected on the inside. Next, we will remove all 16 screws. You have 1, 2, and 3. You then have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and you will have one right here in the center, which will be your 16th screw. Next, with all screws being undone, place your lid back on top. And pick up the tray from underneath with this as well and turn it sideways, leaving it on top. Go ahead and lift up your gasket, push slightly to the side, and this will give you access to your motor and your carbon brushes. You can go ahead and pull this out. You will have 2 screws on each side. You can go ahead and remove those. With both screws removed, you can now pull out your motor. Our next step will be to disconnect both of these wires on each end using a soldering pin to remove the lead that holds them together, here and here. Using a soldering pen, hold the pen to the lead. Once it heats up, it will dissolve and you can safely remove the wire. This may take a minute or a couple seconds. As so. Repeat the process for the other side. Now, both wires are disconnected and you can remove your carbon brushes. Now that you have your motor removed, your carbon brushes will be held by 2 connections and 1 screw on each side. 2 connections and 1 screw. You can go ahead and use a flathead screwdriver to pry these openings open and remove your screw. Using your flathead screwdriver, you will now pry in between and remove your wires. You can now remove your screw. You can now safely remove your carbon brushes. We will repeat this process for the other side. Now to install our carbon brush. Align the hole here to the hole on the motor. You can now insert your screw. Now we will attach our wires to where they were. Using a pair of pliers, close the connection. We will now repeat the process. Next, our step will be to resolder our wires that we removed earlier. They will go here and here. With your motor steady, go ahead and pull out some lead to dissolve onto the connection before you solder the wire onto it. Okay. Now that you have some solder on your carbon brush, go ahead and grab your cable. You're going to want to solder that together. With your cable steady, you can go ahead and add a little bit of more lead until your cable is fully covered like this. You can hold it for a few seconds till it dries. Once it's dry, it should stay like this. You will now proceed with the other side. Now that both cables are attached, you're going to want to let them cool down for a second. Make sure they are stuck on properly. We can now reinstall this motor. We will now be reinstalling our motor. You want to make sure that this side faces downward, with this going into the dryer. as such. Now, we will install our holder. Our motor casing will have two notches, one at the top, one at the bottom. And you will see those notches as well here in the frame. When reinstalling, just make sure that those two line up. You want to make sure that your gasket is out the way, or it will prevent you from inserting it back in, as you just seen. You can now lay this back. And it should look like this. We can now turn. When installing the top of the dryer back on, you want to go ahead and place this bottom piece first. You can move this to the back while we set this into place. Now, let's screw everything back in. Now we can place the top back on. Next, we will reinstall our screws that held everything from the sides. And that will complete our tutorial